Welcome to this week's Safety, Sense, and More video. Today we're going to be talking about the chop saw and how you should use it in the field. First, you want to make sure you inspect the chop saw. You want to make sure the cord doesn't have any nicks, cuts, or frays in it. You want to make sure the prongs are good. This one is. Secondly, you want to inspect your back stop. You want to make sure that it's square to your cut blade. And by the way, you do it with any square, hold it to it, obviously with it unplugged, and bring your saw down to and then make sure it's square. So that's how you check to see if it's square. Obviously it's square. You also want to make sure that this locking mechanism is on tight, so it's good. And you want to make sure that your guard is working correctly. I showed up to a job site not too long ago, and there was a screw popped in one of these holes holding the guard open. So what happens is, if you're using this with the guard up out of your way, we don't want to do that, because if this thing goes down and you bind on a stud and this blade breaks and blows up, it's shooting into your body wherever that's located, whether you're cutting lower or higher, it's going into you. So think about it this way: if you're using a grinder and you're cutting without a guard on it, the blade breaks, it's going to go into your hands. Same thing, it's going to go into your body. So you want to make sure this is properly functioning, and you want to make sure it's not propped up. If somebody used the saw before you, that's not an excuse. You want to make sure that you inspect it before you use it. So make sure that this is down. Another thing that happens on these is this little tab here gets bent down sometimes. This after use, it just gets weak. Tap it up a little bit and make sure it's catching, because you don't want this all the way down. Basically you want it to function properly. So you want that to stop. So that's what your chop saw should be looking and working like. So next thing is, you want to make sure that you have proper ventilation wherever you're cutting. If you're cutting in a tight area and you don't have the right ventilation, it's just not good to breathe all the galvanized metals in and the carbon from the blades. So be aware of that, be conscious of that. You want to set yourself up a cut table. Whenever possible, get up off the ground. You're going to be highly more productive if you're not getting down on your knees and making all your cuts. So if you get up on a table, like an assembly table like this, a bunk of studs works great. I mean, as long as you're not using this bunk of studs, this is perfect. I'm not using it, obviously, in the shop. So I'll set myself up high, and then either a bunk of studs, drywall works really good, but if you're using it on a stack of drywall, make sure that top sheet is a brown side out, so you're not damaging the white side. And then secondly, you can also set up on parries. If you have extra parries on the job site, you can set up a parry and work on that. So any way you get it up, work on a set of benches with 6-inch studs laid across it. Just work off the ground. It makes it a whole lot easier and better on your body, on your knees, and your body will thank you. And it'll just make you faster too. It'll be a lot more productive. The next thing would be a backsplash. So set yourself up with a backsplash. This works really good for protecting finishes around you. So if there's glass or tile or anything that's a finished wall back there, this protects it from getting like sparks hitting it or damaging it. So why risk it? Use a backsplash whenever possible. Another thing is, if you have other coworkers or other employees on the job site walking through there, they're not getting splashed by your sparks. So love using this. I also hang my face shield on there. Obviously you have to use a face shield 100% of the time when you're using the chop saw, grinder, or anything else that uses sparks, like a hot saw. Anything that sparks, you want to use a face shield. So good rule of thumb. I leave it with the chop saw. Some guys hold it on their brim the whole time. It's up to you what you do there. Fire extinguisher. Set your work area up with a fire extinguisher. We want to inspect these once a month. We want to make sure that the yellow arm is in the green section. And we want to, there's usually a sign-off slip on it. Just put for that month and sign it off. That's what I always did, and this is a good habit to get into. So make sure that fire extinguisher is good and keep it close by, within 5 to 10 feet of your work area. Another thing is, so say I'm cutting here, I don't want my cords to be down right where I'm cutting if I'm elevated, because I've seen it happen in the field where you cut that stud and it falls off and it cuts the cord in half, and then all hell breaks loose. So let's make sure you're thinking about proper cord management, moving your cords where they need to be. So another must is you must wear ear protections. I was in the trade for 17 years, and I've always was faithful to use your hearing protection. And when I came in, my hearing's the same as it is now. So stuff I don't tell my wife that. No, I was joking. Yeah. So just want to make sure you wear your hearing protection at all times. Protect yourself. Once your hearing goes bad, it's gone. So same thing with your eyes. Wear your glasses, your goggles, your safety protection, or eye protection, and your face shield at the same time, just like this, and hearing protection. Obviously, you're gonna be wearing your gloves. So yeah, so you need all that protection on, face shield, cord management. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna demonstrate how this is gonna look. And how we should all be doing it in the field. So I'm gonna walk up, I'm gonna inspect this. It looks good. I'm up off the ground. I'm gonna make my cut easier. I'm gonna make sure my cords plug in after I inspected my cords. So plug that in. If I could get there. I'm having issues. There we go. I'm gonna toss it out to the side. I'm gonna cut right here. So I'm gonna make my mark. I already made it. I'm gonna put my hearing protection in. Bring my face shield down, and I'm gonna make my cut. That's all there is to it. Simple. And I know most of you guys have used chop saws in the field, so this is nothing new. It's just little tips and tricks here that I think will help you guys in the field, and yeah. I thank you guys for watching this video.